And we start off with WVM's Lex Juarez. Lex is in Washington, D.C. You're at the center of all of this, Lex. Now, D.C. is still under a state of emergency. Police officers are currently enforcing the curfew that's been set in place. I'm wondering if you can break down for us, what does this public emergency mean, and what does it say about the heightened response to yesterday's riot at the Capitol, Lex?
Yeah, and actually, Joseph, I'm glad you said that because we are still in a state of emergency, but we do not have a curfew going on right now. What the state of emergency does is it gives Mayor Bowser the ability to take extraordinary measures like calling a curfew if she needs to, and she can do that with short notice to community members. And now what it says about this response that the mayor has, it shows that the leaders here in the District of Columbia are taking a good hard look at what happened at the Capitol yesterday, trying to figure out not only how it happened, but making sure that nothing like this ever happens again here in the district, especially as we have big events coming up here in the district. A failure. That's the word D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser used to describe Wednesday, January 6th.
We will review for ourselves what occurred yesterday to commend those who performed heroically and to learn what mistakes were made.
Mistakes that are being pointed out by the masses. And as people continue to wonder how this could have happened, a lot of blame is falling on the U.S. Capitol Police.
With respect to the pre-coordination, to the mayor's point, those things are all being looked at. There were discussions previously with the Capitol Police and others, and no request of the D.C. National Guard were made.
Not only was the Capitol Police seemingly overwhelmed and overtaken by crowds, but their call for help came after the protests started to turn to a riot.
When U.S. Capitol Police called for assistance, MPD answered the call.
The criticism has already led to a resignation by the U.S. Capitol Police Chief, but the public is still concerned with the lack of preparation.
There was no intelligence that suggested there would be a breach of the U.S. Capitol.
But the intelligence was out there weeks in advance. A quick Google search will show direct threats made on local leaders, lawmakers, and the Capitol building itself, with a breach specifically mentioned. And the FBI was aware, having made visits to keep some people away.
It was the going in position that it would be somewhat similar to November 14th, December 12th, where the types of groups that were there, but had no wildest imagination that you could end up breaching the Capitol grounds.
And Mayor Bowser said that they will be learning from the mistakes of yesterday and using those lessons as they plan for the inauguration, which is coming up here in just under 2 weeks. Live in Washington, Lex Juarez, WDVM 25.
Yeah, Lex, that was very important that you mentioned there that, a lot of officials said publicly that they didn't know anything about this, but there were warnings on conservative social media this whole time for weeks, for months. Lex Juarez out there in Washington, D.C.